the northern part of India, Leh Ladakh, and we are part of a ride with Royal Enfield known as Himalayan Odyssey. It's the 12th edition of this, and we are part from Leh. I'm here on the first day. It's a relaxing day to accommodate with this climate and altitude. Tomorrow we'll be starting the ride. We'll be going to Hunda through the highest motorable road, Kadungla Pass. So enjoy this ride with Royal Enfield Himalayan Odyssey. Leg 1 was the ride from Leh to Hunda, and we are coming back on the second day on the leg 1 itself, completing the leg in Leh. And Hunda, we have passed the highest motorable road, which is the Kadungla Pass, and we are climbing down and coming back to the altitude where Leh is. It is 11,400 feet above sea level. The altitude change has never felt on the bike. It was performing very great. And there was a mix of on-road and off-road on the performance. It was again challenging on the rider's point of view. Bike as Himalayan, as you know, it's a touring bike meant for off-road performance, and it was running great. So far physically also, no challenge. Let's see what the ride ahead is. So guys, we have reached the highest pass today, which is a Tanglangla Pass, which is around 17,582 feet. Now onwards we will be climbing down. The ride so far was so much climb, and we are changing altitude so far. Bike was performing good, suspension was great. There was a lot of patches which was off-road kind of patch, where the stand-up erector position when we ride are actually giving us a good confidence while you're riding. The normal bullet guys mostly are not doing that position. Some of them are doing, but mostly maybe they're not used to, not seen much of them doing it. If you do that, you'll get more control of the bike. You can cover up that area very easily in that position. So we came to the end of the second leg here in Durbring, and it is again higher than Leh. It is around 14,500 feet. Even though sunny, it is pretty cold over here, and the breeze is also making us chill. That's why my hands are inside, ears is covered. So it's gonna be chilling more in the night, they were told. Durbring village is quite far from here. I mean, again 4-5 kilometers away, but we are in a valley. There's a dried out lake over there, which has got that flare of the lake. Otherwise, it's a very beautiful place with mountains surrounding. It's amazing. We are camped over here in tents, and it was again another different experience of expedition. Whereas we're in the Hunda, we were having a proper hotel kind of a tent, where this is a adventure kind of like expedition kind of tents where normally we stay when we do this kind of expeditions. So talking about the ride, after we passed the Tanglang Pass, it was quite descending then. It was like we are climbing down from 17,500 feet to 14,000 feet, which is 3,000 feet we climbed down. So altitude change was 3,000 both ways, because from Leh we climbed again around 17,000, and which is 6,000 we climbed, and half of which we climbed down. So some people have found that bit dizziness and all, so they are taking rest. Rest all fine except this coldness. And regarding the bike, it's also performing very well. Most of the route it was tarmac, except the final stretch which we came over here. It was kind of an off-road, quite a bit challenging because of some of the blind spot which were actually challenging, because when we cover up some of the humps, there was some potholes, again a broken piece of roads, which was quite dangerous. So if you have proper look, you can tackle it, otherwise it's quite difficult. We covered around 175 kilometers in a short span of time because of the tarmac road. So both the experience on tarmac and off-road was good. So far so good, and it was really challenging. Tomorrow going to be a longer day for us. Let's see how it's going to be tomorrow. We are in the second leg and we are half of the way, and we stopped in Sergio for lunch, and this also place to regroup the entire 55 bags which are riding in this Himalayan Odyssey. The route we started in the morning from Durbring, and the first leg was a trial to the highway. Once you got the highway up to Pang, it was a good tarmac road, even though some of the stretch was a bit narrow one. But once you pass the Pang, it is quite challenging. It was a mix of off-road. I mean, there was no tarmac. It was kind of off-road, more dusty gravel road. It was challenging for the riders to cope up with that track. It was quite a tasky one. And there was a kind of tarmac also, but it was a tricky road. There was unexpected bends, which was having blind spots. And there were bumps, which were again was challenging for the riders, which was again not visible on the tarmac. But the ride was fun because there were a lot more for us to do on this trail. So let's catch up the second phase after here. We are in the morning of the third leg and we are in Keelong. It's more beautiful than what we see in Europe. So it is an exciting, clean, fresh morning. But the day yesterday was quite challenging. After Sergio, it was again a dramatic ride. There's a mix of tarmac and off-road. But the challenge was like, even in tarmac, there used to be surprises on breaking up the road and crossings. And we had 3 water crossing. One was quite challenging because it was a river kind of flow, and there was a melt in the ice in the top of the hill, so the water level was high, and it was dirty water, so we can't see what exactly inside the water is. So once we passed that, we were having quite a challenge to tackle the rubbles. Afterwards, then 2 of the crossing we had clear water. One was small one, other one was having clear water, but the rubbles were a bigger one. It's not only about the expertise, but actually the momentum and the confidence you gain and lose during crossing the water. So this is quite challenging. And after Sergio, we reached Jispa, where there was a bridge construction going on. But we had a regrouping there, and we had a halt of around 1.5 hours because The gun one and the rest of the team was delayed because in between there was a small landslide, there was a traffic jam. So it was like 1.5 hours we had a halt over there and we reached Keelong here. Today, as per Himalayan Odyssey, guys, it's the toughest day. We're covering around 170 kilometers, 175 odd kilometers, but it's going to be the longest day because of the track. It's not because of the distance. And we will be covering 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 water crossing, and one is said to be 70 meter or maybe up to 100 meter long because it depends on how the ice melt from the top of the hill. If you stay like gloomy like this, it will be good. If it's hot, then there will be more melting, then there will be water level will be high, so it will be challenging. And rest of the day will be mostly on off-road, and we'll be reaching the place called Kaza, where we'll be having the halt. So let's see and stay tuned how the drama is going on. So we have stopped in the half of the day on the second leg, and it was the most challenging, most exciting and most fun-filled ride. I had two falls. One was in the morning on tarmac and had this gift. Actually, I slipped over when my boot was broken. Then it got stuck on my gear lever and I fall. Thankfully, because I was geared up properly, not become only swelling, and there's a slight wound also. Otherwise fine. There were two river crossing. One was really challenging with a lot of rubbles, and there also I had a small fall, but nothing happened or hurted. But everybody was having a lot of support. The brotherhood really worked here. That was the most exciting thing. Second was the most toughest one, where there was a river crossing as well as a climb, and it was full of rubble and rocks. So there I could tackle it very easily, and the bike was performing great in that condition. After that stretch of 20 kilometers we covered, again 25 kilometers left on this same kind of off-road condition. Let's see around. And there's a speciality over here which is behind the camera. There's a dhaba where the uncle and the auntie who run this have been awarded for the bravery, because last year there was an ice landslide over here. So 120 tourists were blocked here, and they fed them around 30 days, and they've taken care of them, and they were given this award. So hats off to them. So today we started from Kaza and we reached our regrouping destination, which is called Nako. We have covered around 3.5 hours ride, and there was an hour break in between where we had beautiful, delicious samosas and a tea from military canteen. It was delicious and very cheap also on price. We had more of a tarmac on this route, but it was more of a challenging and tricky road because this area is prone for landslides, so you have to be very careful. Whatever tarmac has been rebuilt here are because of this landslide, so any chance can be taken. So we had to be careful on that respect, as well as there's a lot of twisty curves which are actually blind spots. So we have to be very careful on the speeds. We can't pile up good speed. We should be careful around 60 to 70 is the maximum you can. But ideal is 50 to 60, and you can get a good efficiency as well. So far it was great fun, especially after a tough off-road. It was a more relaxing ride.
But All whatever I said, जिंदगी प्यार का